Before we get into the show, guys, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. It takes you 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment as well. It really does help the video. Also, if you haven't had a chance, make sure to tune into our season preview that we dropped last week. It is already on track to be our most ever watched and downloaded episode. So make sure to check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube. Leave a comment. Like the video. Let's get straight into the show.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Packer Up Boys, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. This is the multi I got set up this today. I got North Queensland Cowboys to win, Melbourne Storm to win, Broncos to win. That's paying $16. It's trials. You don't know who's going to win. So I just literally went all of the underdogs, put them together in a multi. That's over on me feed. You can copy it. Give us a follow. You go to open your Sportsbet, go to the feed option, type in bloke in a bar, and give us a follow. Take you 2 seconds, and you can check all the multis. I've got a bunch of multis. I've already put on my most improved for 2025. I've already put on my who I think is going to be in the grand final, and I've already put on my grand final winners on my feed. So make sure to give us a follow. Anyway, Sandor, the great Sandor, how you been, bros?
Yeah, the boys been good, brah. Been good. It's been a good week. Big week of sports, actually. Got around a little bit of Super Bowl Monday out of the Bella Vista Hotel there. So.
Were you a Philadelphia Eagles fan, or were you a?
Low key, I wanted to see the Eagles win. Few stories there, a few storylines that I got around, so that was pretty cool. Got the Doncic, he got around the Lakers this week as well, so that was cool. And it's been a big week of sports.
Matty?
I watched the Super Bowl, but not so much for the game. I just watched it for Kendrick. I wanted Philly to win just because of Jordan Mailata, but that's the only reason I wanted them to win. I'm happy they did.
So the Kendrick halftime performance, very polarizing.
I can't believe it was polarizing.
I loved it.
I was mad. It was so good.
I loved it.
That's all we wanted.
And I know some people are like, he should have played his hits, but you got to remember, he was already at the Super Bowl, and he played half his hits there.
Yeah, he did like Mad City.
And
he was there on a mission.
He was that specific set was made specifically for the culture. It was the antithesis of what you usually get in a Super Bowl with all the meanings and the symbols. I loved it. And also the skill to rap like that whilst running around and in choreography. I said it, but then you rattled me. Choreography.
I saved you.
No, you're saying graph. I'm saying feet. Choreography. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trying to say.
The choreography was top notch.
That's what I mean. And
ridiculous.
To do that whilst rapping as well as he did. Go and look at any other big pop stars show that raps. Most of the big rappers sound terrible live. So bad. Only Eminem, probably J. Cole and Kendrick currently. I know there'd probably be some other guys you could say, but other ones, they've got massive backing tracks where if they put the mic down, you can literally just hear the backing track. And it's which is fine. You're going there for more. I get it. You're going there for the song, the hype up, the experience, the environment. That's totally fine. I'm not a snob where it's I can't believe they're lip syncing or whatever. Look, whatever you like, whatever floats your boat. However, you have to admire someone that can go and just rap on stage whilst running around, sticking to choreography and nailing it.
What sort of hours do you reckon he's putting in terms of practice? You reckon big hours?
Yeah, 100%. Really? Because he has to censor himself. So all of the any N-words, any swearing, that all has to be censored.
And not just censor himself, he has to then rhyme the new words together, which he did. And also, it's a set list together. And also, he would have been responsible with his manager or his creative director, Dave Free, he actually is part of the artistic process of putting what the whole setup is, the video game control, the game over.
There's a lot on the line.
And all the subliminal
situation, if that wasn't everything that it needed to be, it would have been.
All the subliminal messaging too, turn your TV off at the end and then the game over, and I loved it. Look, I can totally understand why it is polarizing though, because for example, let's say a heavy metal band got up, I'm not going to enjoy that at all. I'm just not. However, I will say, people that aren't, at the very least, even if you don't like rap, respecting his ability to rap like that whole time with all that choreography is crazy. It's crazy.
Bruh, it's wild.
So because it was a very rapidy rap show, so I can understand why people that don't enjoy rap didn't enjoy it for sure. I get that because it wasn't like, I think a lot of halftime shows are very poppy. And what I mean by poppy is like the Dr. Dre, the Eminem, 50 Cent, like although they are rap songs, they are pop rap songs. Like
and more so on the entertainment side.
Yeah, it's popular kind of music. It's got like a hook, a verse, a hook. Whereas like Kendrick was playing songs that weren't really made for even radio. Like they have like go for 5 minutes. They don't have any hooks. Like Euphoria, he played that. He played TV Off, which is kind of made for the radio, but not really. Like it's not really a radio track, but it is a big track. He even played Peekaboo.
Yeah, Peekaboo. I couldn't believe he played that.
And then there's conspiracy theories around Peekaboo, which are insane. Go look it up. I'm not even going to get into it, but you love a conspiracy theory, don't you? Well, you would go down this rabbit hole. You'd never come out.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
Mate, it's about...
diving in.
Yeah, there's so many... Anyway. So I
haven't heard that yet. I'll have to look it up after.
It's a conspiracy theory. This is what I about XXXTentacion.
Okay, yeah.
And Drake.
Wow.
Anyway, and the Peekaboo song is supposed to be connected to that what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And when he did the Peekaboo song in the Super Bowl halftime show, you know how there was a circle, triangle, square, X?
Yes.
Guess which one he was in when he did the Peekaboo song? The X. XXXTentacion.
Okay, yep.
I love that there's layers.
Like layers. So a lot of people already before the Super Bowl had connected the song Peekaboo with XXXTentacion's death. And so that song already had a subculture on the internet that had connected the two. And then he goes to the Super Bowl and plays it when he's in an X. And he is just too methodical. So it's just like, okay, holy shit.
Imagine all the people that are so diehard committed to this theory and that happening. It's dreams come true.
Yeah, it's literally a dream come true. It's literally a dream come true.
I actually seen a mad clip during the week of what they said was he was the catalyst for like the halftime entertainment show. So it was Michael Jackson's show.
Which is iconic.
Yeah. And it was from the point of view of the director.
Yeah, the 2-minute pause.
Yes, right. And I was like, so he's talking through it and you can hear him in the mic like, Michael, come on. And he said like, Michael said that do not start the music until I grab my glasses. So it goes through this like 5-minute journey of him just being there going, and
you can hear his voice going, come on, Michael, come on.
And he's explaining, and it would be true. Like that 2 minutes would have felt like 2 hours for him, just like, and silence. But it was gangster.
Think about how much money is on the line if you miss like an ad break or whatever. We're talking like, people pay like 40, 50 million for an ad on a Super Bowl. I will say, the modern day pop star does not have anywhere near the aura that Michael Jackson had.
No, never.
Or Prince. Like we haven't, I don't think
we'll see it again.
I think we might, but I do think that like social media has taken away the mystery. Like there used to be a gap between us, the normal person.
Yeah. When it's accessible, you didn't see everything.
Yeah, and so there was a gap between us, the person, and the celebrity and the superstar.
Yeah.
So you almost, in your mind, put them up on a pedestal that was above being a person. Whereas I do feel like social media has humanized celebrities to a degree. So although we still do idolize and worship celebrities, which is, to be honest, I think that's only natural. Like even back in the cave days, I'm sure that fucking Davo, that was a mad scrapper, different tribes were like, have you heard of fucking Davo? He's a mad scrapper. He smashed fucking Bill the other day in a mad punch on. That's only natural for humans. So I think celebrity worship will always be around. But I just think that like, when you look at, tell me one celebrity that could get on stage for 2 minutes at the Super Bowl, stand still for 2 minutes and not get booed.
They wouldn't do it.
You get booed by the first minute.
Yeah.
First minute you're getting booed.
Yeah.
Me and my mates are actually talking about this, but for sportsmen, I reckon it's kind of similar. Like social media is kind of humanized them. Like David Beckham back in the day was just this like untouchable figure. Maradona.
They used to literally, like there were literally some people that would worship Maradona as a god. Like that's how much of his, but it's just, yes, I think social media has just humanized a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you see them as, like, you don't just see them whenever they're all dolled up and they got all the kit on or whatever. You see them just as normal people taking normal photos, which you'd assume it's a good thing. But greatest ever Super Bowl performance. Come on, boys. What do you reckon?
My favorite is the Eminem one, but besides that,
technically it's not the Eminem one. It's
Dr.
the
Dre.
Dr. Dre one. Yeah.
So that's my favorite. I can't go past Prince singing Purple Rain in the Rain though. That's just unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, after I watched that the other day, that clip, I did go and watch the full noise of the Michael Jackson.
Bro.
I don't think you can go past that.
For me, it's Michael Jackson. Even though I love the Weeknd for me is the best modern one. Like he doesn't get enough credit because it was during COVID and that. It was all shut down. Half the stadium was out. Bro, if you go back and watch his performance,
it was elite.
How it all came together like some big movie. Like it was like he literally started on the top of the friggin' stadium to a degree and then like walked around, come down. But in regards to all time, Michael Jackson, as I said, find me a celebrity today that could stand on a stage for 2 minutes, not saying anything, and not be getting booed within 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of aura that bloke had.
100%. That was iconic.
Let us know in the comments section, best Super Bowl performance of all time. What is your number one? I'm trying to think of other...
U2 had a really good one. But yeah, the LA one.
Shakira J-Lo.
I mean, at the time, that was. I thought that was pretty fucking good too.
Look, I know it wasn't actually that good of a performance, but Rihanna to do it pregnant. There's something so boss about that I just can't get around. As in, like, I can't get my head around. Like, she is creating life whilst on a Super Bowl stage, stopping the world. And matter of fact, her YouTube, Rihanna YouTube, the Super Bowl performance, it's at like 250 million or something like that. Like crazy, crazy numbers. Like think about how boss that is. You are literally, you have life in your belly.
Yeah.
And you are on the Super Bowl stage, you know, keeping in time with dance moves. And like, bro, it's hard enough as it is being pregnant. Like you get tired really quickly. You have mood swings. She learned a whole routine and stopped like the Super Bowl, one of the biggest event. It's in the top 10 most viewed sporting events in the world, and she's just up there pregnant, killing it. As I said, I know it wasn't the craziest performance because she couldn't. She's pregnant, but there's just something hectic about it.
That was unreal. That was unreal.
Like that's so hectic.
What a reflection for the kid. I mean, at best, we might have seen our mum a photo of them being pregnant.
She's
go back and watch the Super Bowl. It's me.
I wonder, do you reckon the kid was dancing in there? Surely the kid was dancing, little kick in the belly and that. But yeah, there's something about that that's credible. But yeah, for me, modern era, like it's the Weeknd. I thought he killed it. The audio engineer killed Weeknd. It wasn't loud. He didn't have his voice loud enough. But other than that, I thought Weeknd was awesome. Granted, obviously, I'm a massive fan of the Weeknd. But then I think all time, you just can't go past MJ.
Can't.
So MJ, Prince.
Yeah, I like Prince. Yeah.
Yeah, the Purple Rain in the rain.
The pathetic fallacy of the rain coming down. It was just unreal.
Yeah.
To be.
What an artist Prince was. Like, literally played essentially every instrument. Crazy. But yeah, let us know in the comments section, what is the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time?
They had mad beef, didn't they? MJ and Prince.
I'm not sure.
I think they were at the worst, they were huge rivals.
It might be just maybe the competitive nature of wanting to be the best. Alrighty, Grumpy Coffee. Grumpy Coffee will be down at Sports Shed charity match this Sunday at Ringrose Park from 11 a.m. until game time at 3 p.m. There's ex-NRL players that will be playing rugby league. Guru is going to be one of the coaches of one of the teams. If you're at Ringrose Park, look for the Grumpy Coffee stand this Sunday. Matty will be there.
I will.
Who else will be there? Lukey
will be there.
So make sure to get down. Grumpy Coffee.
Yeah, Guru's going to be coaching one of the teams, which is
sweet.
Cool.
So get envisioning with the clipboard, all plays set up.
Oh yeah. So get down. Try the Grumpy Coffee. If you can't get down, head to our website. Grab some Grumpy Coffee. Got beautiful blends. We've got beans from PNG, Guatemala, Brazil. An absolutely outstanding blend, guys. So give it a try. We've got the everyday blend. We've got the darker blend, which is the very grumpy blend. If you're a bit unsure which one to get, just get the 250 gram bags, because then you can mix and match. Or we've got our pods as well. And funnily enough, even though we could do the beans, because we've got whole beans, guys, all ground, we actually use the pods here because they're so bloody good.
Yeah, they are great.
So good, so great.
I actually used the beans the other day for espresso martinis. Ooh. It was great.
Good?
Yeah.
Beautiful. That. And as I said, the beans from all over, from PNG, from Guatemala, Brazil. So head to grumpycoffee.com.au. All right, boys, time for an algo check. What's the algo looking like?
I'll jump in first because we've already spoken about it. It's just all been Super Bowl. Actually, on Sunday, not to go back to it, but on Tuesday after the Super Bowl, me and Courtney we just binged a bunch of Super Bowl performances.
Yeah.
It was great. But yeah, just the whole Drake thing coming back. Yeah, that's me at the moment.
What's your algo looking like?
Mate, funnily enough, My TV's actually broken at the moment. Let me take you on a
Oh,
little
here we
journey.
go.
Let me take you on a little journey. Before
Oh,
I
hey
land my
guys,
plane.
I'm better than you. I don't have a TV. One of those ones, eh? Too busy eating meat.
Too busy. That's right. Sleep protocol, all the rest of that shit. Circadian rhythm.
Blue light, he's addicted.
Normally,
You
I'd
can't
like to
touch-
come to the table with a series or a movie, and it just reminded me of. I really appreciate the intention behind some of your movie critiques and movie reviews.
Yeah, okay.
But it made me think after I was actually sent a clip on Instagram, which is algorithm related.
Okay.
And it just made me think maybe there's this underlying thing that you just haven't yet achieved. Now, I want to give it context. I just want to show you a little video here.
Oh, here we go. You had this in the duffel bag, eh? Just ready to go in the back
I want
pocket.
to show you a little video here and just let me know. Look, what you've achieved so far on the mic is phenomenal, but just let me know if there's this little underlying thing that is the reason why you are so...
Oh, stop it.
My name's Denan Kemp. I'm from the Gold Coast. I'm 21 years old. Yeah, I play for the Vodafone Warriors. If I could pick another profession, I'd be a movie star.
Now listen, first of all, let's be clear here. Let's be clear. I'm not saying I'm a movie star. I'm saying that would be sick to be that. If you're asked, like, let's just take a backward step here. I'm not, like, have a look at his head. I'm not saying I'm a movie star. I'm saying how sick would it be to be a movie star? They ask you, like, they ask you the question, if you could have a dream job, try something for the day. So you telling me you wouldn't want to be a movie star?
Oh, I definitely would. But my question is there this underlying resentment, and is that why the critiques of the movies and the movie stars are so strong?
I tell you what, back then I wasn't critiquing any. This is
That's early days.
That's early days, bro.
Wow.
That's like 21 years old, bro. You know what's crazy about that? It was like 21, and I was so impatient. Like, I was like, if I'm not playing first grade, like, my career's over. And I was 21 going to New Zealand. It's silly. Anyway, but no, I didn't critique movies hectic back then. It's not till I got older where I started to, and maybe it's the old cranky me coming out. It's not till I got older. Like,
and you
maybe,
realised it wasn't going to happen, and then now
I realised I wasn't going to be a movie star,
subconscious, you know?
and now I just hate on movies and that.
Anyway, it's interesting.
I tell you what is funny though. So I got a message from a dude, and he's like, "You owe an apology to everyone for recommending After Sun."
Oh, wow. Controversial.
Anyway, so I messaged back and I said, "Hey, bro, do you understand what happened at the end?"
Oh, the ending.
And there was a long pause. And then he answered, but I got a strong feeling he Googled the answer, because once he answered, he was a bit more like, "Oh, that actually, it does seem like a bit." So I've got a strong feeling. And look, please reach out, brother. Obviously, it was a very cordial conversation. It wasn't bad. But be honest with me, mate. Did you actually understand the ending? Because I don't think he did. Because once we did explain the ending to him, or once he said that, "Oh, did this happen?" Because he didn't say this happened. He said, "Did this happen?" Then I think he was starting to realise, oh, okay, actually that puts the movie in a whole new light. So look, as I said, After Sun, and what's so weird, so no one else had messaged me about the movie After Sun, but then someone else messaged me the same day and was like, "Thanks so much for recommending After Sun. It was the best movie ever."
There you go.
Yeah.
Either you can't please everyone, or moral of the story is don't be on your phone at the end of the movie.
Yeah, watch the
and
actual
miss
movie.
the fucking
Because
punchline.
if After Sun is a movie you have to watch, and it feels like it's boring. Trust me, I get it. It feels boring. Like, you're like, what is happening? The ending, if you've put it all together, is like, oh my God, wow, and hit you like a ton of bricks. So, and look, don't get me wrong, like, even my wife, when we watched it together, because I'd already watched it, I said, we got to watch this movie. We watched it together, and she's easily, like, distracted. Unless she's locked in, she might be, distracted other things. And so she got to the end as well and was like, "Oh yeah, it was all right." And I was like, "Well, did you know what happened in the end?" She's like, "Oh, not really. She didn't see, and I nearly spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. And then I explained what happened. She's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't actually watching that closely." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." So yeah, and look, maybe, and I just want to be clear with that clip that you tried to pull out of nowhere. What I was trying to say is, like, what would you want to be? Everyone would want to be a movie star for a day. Like, that would be sick. Am I alone in this, or what?
No, it would be good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't mind it.
If you could be any profession for a day, what would it be?
I'd probably be an elite sportsman.
Exactly. So
yeah.
What outside of that?
I don't know. I'm not really. Again, I don't. When I think of actors, I think of being on set all day for 16 hours. And
so you wouldn't want to be like Brad Pitt for a day?
Yeah, I'd want to be Brad Pitt for a day, but I wouldn't want to do any work. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be sick. I think it'd be sick to experience, like, imagine the process of creating a movie, and then you do the movie, and then it's in cinema, and it's a hit.
Oh, bro, you're a movie star. It's fucking mad.
And, like, then you're, like, the cultural impact of that movie. Like, imagine being a part of Oppenheimer. Like, the cultural impact of that movie. Or Lord of the Rings. Like,
Gladiator.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're Gladiator forever.
Yeah, that'd be,
You know what I'm saying? Cool. Like, that just... And so, when that clip did come up, I was like, what the hell? I don't remember saying that.
Even Brad Pitt, give me the role as Achilles. Oh,
mate, that's what I mean.
I grew my hair because of that movie.
Now that you say it, how cool is it that people still call Russell Crowe Gladiator?
That's what I'm saying.
And he stands up in the game. Like,
that's
come
what
on, bro.
I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. That you know, to be a movie star would be sick. Like, imagine that feeling after pulling that performance out, and it becomes a classic movie, and you are forever known as the Gladiator. Like,
I'd love to be. Obviously, if we're talking about movie stars, you're obviously in the top, like, 3, the top echelon. So, I'd love to be like world's best DJ.
Yeah, see, I'd rather be in music. I reckon.
Right, like this. That's to experience that. You got this ridiculous crowd, all just vibing. You're creating the emotions, the dopamine, the happiness.
Yeah, see, I mean, I'd do it for sure, but it doesn't pull me as much as movie. Like, creating art that impacts lives, and don't get me wrong, music does as well. But that's something. I think that's special. I think.
It'd be sick.
Be so good. Let us know in the comment section. What would you, if you could be something, one thing for a day? What would it be? I wouldn't mind actually, like, being a movie, like, producer, or like a producer. That'd be cool. Because then you don't have to deal with all the negative stuff of being a movie star, but you still get to actually create the movie. Let us know in the comment section. But good get 1-0 Shandor. We'll remember that. That's for sure. We'll remember that. My algo. Oh man, another person's content I've watched turns out to be potentially, I don't know, not good.
Oh no.
I don't know. There's a controversy online. There's a book, BookTube. It's called BookTube. So it's like people that review books and that. And there's one of the biggest reviewers on that. He's in a controversy at the moment. So that's Mialgo just getting smashed with that.
He's never read the book. He's been ChatGPTing it.
No. It's way more serious than that. Way more serious than that. Like, just literally as serious as you can get. And so that sucks. Another one down potentially. I said, I don't know. He's come out and denied it, blah, blah, blah. So it's back and forth. But, so his name's Daniel Green. He's a booktuber, one of the biggest ones. Reviews all the fantasy novels, everything, and he's in massive controversy. I don't know.
The review industry is taking a real hit at the moment.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely not a part of my algorithm at all, but from what I've heard from you.
Mate, it has, because he was the top. He's in a controversy now. So that's Mialgo at the moment. That whole drama, very sad drama, if I'm being honest. But that's Mialgo. Boys, Sharkies Raiders trial last night. Sharkies win 40-10. I think that scoreline's a bit deceiving because the Sharks left on their first grade side for quite a lot longer than the Raiders. And Sharkies fans, don't bite my head off and don't be like, well, actually, they only left on this amount. Like, generally speaking, I felt the Sharkies left their first grade side on for longer. And when both first grade sides were on, it was essentially even. I think it was about 12-10. And then Fogarty came off, and then quite a lot and Raiders had the young fellas on.
It was 2 tries all at halftime.
Yeah, and so I think in the second half, most of the Sharks first graders went back on, whereas I think the Raiders, and I could be wrong, that was just what I felt when I was watching the game. When you're looking at like the backs of jerseys and you're seeing like 26, number 23 and 24.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like look at that and go, oh yeah, Sharkies beat them 40-10, because it's just trials you just don't know. Like,
no, you have to take the context of what you see and start to play, and also
like
drop off.
Even like little things, like for example, they could be trying things. Like you could have kept your first grade side on, but you tell Nico, for example, to play differently just to see how it's going to work. Not that happened because they won 40-10. So Raiders fans, I actually like what I've seen from the Raiders so far. Granted, it does show you that like there is still quite a ways between first grade and reserve grade. But as I said, the good thing for the Raiders is like, yes, the biggest takeaway from this match you could probably take is the Sharks' depth is a couple years ahead of the Raiders' depth. But what I like about the Raiders at the moment is like you could argue the Raiders' depth is most likely younger. Again, I don't know for sure, but like you look at guys like Sanders, you look at Stewart, you look at Strange, even though he's in the first grade side, but he's a younger player. You look at their hooker, like all these guys are like 19, 18, 19. Then you've got the Martin brothers, I think, that are relatively young as well. So the good thing for the Raiders is that, like, yes, is the Raiders' depth not as good as Sharks? True. Sharks have some of the best depth in the competition. The good thing is that these guys are all really young. In a year or two, imagine how good they're going to be. Imagine how ready they're going to be. And also, they're around the same age, so you're going to be able to keep them together for a long period of time. And so, yeah, I think that I wouldn't be too worried either club. I thought Sharks showed that, that if you're a Sharkies fan, you're probably sitting there going, like, this is exactly what we'd want to be showing in a trial match if we're considered premiership threats this year. And if you're a Raiders fan, I think you're sitting there going, the whole plan was about bringing young guys in, and the young guys look pretty good. So what do you reckon? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, the reflection of these games, you've played in many, as have I, it's certainly not a massive indicator, the outcome of the score. But I agree. I like what I'm seeing from the Raiders. I think there's some good signs there. I will say, what did you think about the comment that was tossed up? Obviously, there wasn't a big uptake in the crowd for the game and the trial game. That one in particular came up on my newsfeed in the algo. But do you think, is there something that can be done outside of the televised trial games? Like, do we move them to areas where
100%
we're going to get some good, like a good crowd, some good engagement? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I wouldn't even look at it like getting good engagement. I would look at it more like, look, there's so much money wrapped up in the season. Taking the games out to the country is tough because there's so much, like, I know that we do, but like taking more games out, it's really tough because there's so much money wrapped up in it.
Seems like the opportunity.
Exactly. Whereas like trial matches, it's like get out to the country as much as possible. So yeah, I agree. Like I almost like a bit of a silly decision to play it where they did. Like we've got to stay connected to country footy. It's such a big part of rugby league. So why not give them all of the trial matches?
Yeah, I agree.
The players like lose nothing. It's a trial match. Who gives a shit? But the country audience in rugby league, they get to meet their heroes or players and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that to me was like almost like a huge missed opportunity. What do you reckon, Matty?
Yeah, it seems like an easy win, doesn't it? Just take it out there. The NRI they try to do a lot, but they should be doing all they can for the country. But yeah, when I watch trials, I tend to kind of look at, because what you said before about how they might be trying new things, different players. I tend to look at the positives. And I did that last night. I thought the Raiders started really well. At halftime, I was like, I'm pretty stoked with how Canberra have gone here. And the Sharks, I felt they didn't really get out of first or second gear in the first half, but I thought they played pretty good. There's a couple of unforced errors, but like everything else, I thought they were quite good. I thought the Sharks forward pack was bloody awesome. I know Tarpany didn't play, but
I will say, and I know I'm probably going to be in the minority here, I love the crackdown. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, it was driving me insane, the amount of players over the last couple of years that were just rolling it through their legs. It changes the fabric of the ruck. If you can just roll it through your legs, you are increasing the speed of the ruck by tenfold. And you get this...
It really does.
It changes everything.
No,
because you barely need to get up.
Yeah.
And so, like, you've got half these players that are going, well, I'm going to play the ball properly, because that's the way you're supposed to play it. Then you've got this other half of players that are getting taught, no, just roll it through your legs. You never get penalised. And so you've got this confusion between players of some players going, well, I'm doing it by the rules, and this guy's rolling through his legs and not getting penalised. Eventually, we would have got to a point where everyone was just rolling straight through their legs, and we've like lost the ruck. Like, it's bizarre. I love the crackdown. I think and as I said, I know I'm going to be the minority because I know people are going to be pissed about the penalties, this, that, and next thing. I think it's good. I think it was ruining the ruck. I think that we were going to get to a point where people were literally tunnel balling through their legs. That's not the rugby league ruck. The game is already way faster than it's ever been. We don't need it any faster. We need to give opportunities for bigger bodies to still be a part of rugby league. I love the crackdown.
But also do it now. Like
100%
do it now in the trials, because I can tell you right now that this will be ingrained. This would be a shit show if you started implementing this in round 1, round 2, round 3. This has been like a 7-year timeline. The last time I was playing, they came into preseason, really hammered on about it. Everyone got penalised. And then I reckon an 18-month period before the game started to change. And to your point, you see it and it's like blatantly obvious now.
It's so obvious.
There's not even an attempt and they're getting away with it.
And also, like, if they were to do this middle of the year, I'd be like, hang on a sec, you should have done it. They're doing it in trials. Yeah. So if you're getting pinged in round 1, that's no one's fault but your own. I get getting pinged in trials because you're not used to it yet as a player.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to have a sook when it comes to round 1, it's like, nah. The NRL has been super clear about this. Put your foot on the ball. At least try and put your foot on the ball. And now I know Matty feels very differently about it.
Yeah, well, kind of. Crackdowns, like, they just give me the shits. Like, it's just, I hate watching footy and seeing all these penalties. How
do you stop it then, though?
Well, no, and when I took a step back and really thought about it and realised I was watching a trial game, I thought, all right, this is the time to do it. Because if this happens in round 1 or 2, which it will, it's going to give me the shits. And like, then they're not going to do anything about it in round 7. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, this does stop the players from doing it, and there's every chance it will. But like, it was just a reminder of. I think last year and the year before, we saw these crackdowns, and then you'd see 2 penalties in Origin, then you'd see 2 penalties in the grand final, and you're just like, why are we overcomplicating things? Like, it just seems like another thing that they're doing. But as you said, I took a step back and thought, all right, it is something that's a problem. It didn't really bother me, but I get why I think it's a problem. Doing it in the trials is fine, but yeah, it's going to really annoy me if there's 1,000 penalties for it.
I'll tell you what is annoying also from the perspective that you have is, at the end of the day, this isn't like a player running a line. It's not impacting a play. It's to fucking play the ball.
It's a play.
So yeah, it is annoying because your team is in an advantageous point and they're getting pulled up at any time on any time in the field for not playing the ball correctly. Like, that's pissing me off if I'm watching that.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, if you're the punter, the refs all go to training sessions for months prior to the first trial game. Everyone knows it's just a habit that needs to be squashed, and you'd rather it be done now than, because if you're getting penalties round 1, round 2, round 3 for someone not playing the ball correctly, you're filthy.
Blowing up. And that's what I mean. The reason I like this method of what the NRL is doing, if there are heaps of penalties round 1, don't blame the refs. Blame the players. This isn't a situation where it's like touch and go and it's all about interpretation, where it's like, man, I ran to his chest, not his inside shoulder. Why? That's not an obstruction. This is super clear and it's super easy for players to do. Put your foot on the ball. At the very least, try to put your foot on the ball. It's not interpretation. It's not hard. It's the most simple. And also, what's crazy as well, you were taught how to play the ball from like literally 5 years old. So if there are heaps of penalties in round 1, granted, like if they're giving penalties away where they actually are putting their foot on the ball, then it's like, that is, and you can blame the refs. But I think don't blame the refs this time. Blame the players, because the players were told this is something that they can control. For example, when there was heaps of penalties in the middle of the year for head highs, the hard thing about policing the head highs is that sometimes accidents happen and you can slip up a little bit, or a player can drop at the last second. So it is extremely hard to get that timing right. And sometimes it's out of your control as to what you can do. The good thing about this crackdown is it is 100% in the player's control to put your foot on the ball, or at least try to put your foot on the ball. And that's why I think that you can't be cut at the NRL for this. They did it in trials. They've been extremely clear. The only person to the blame is the bloke that doesn't put his foot on the ball, in my opinion.
Well, hopefully then in round 20 we're still penalising it, because last year, what was that stupid rule?
But that's the thing. So you want the player, you want in the season to not be many penalties, but at the same time you're saying hopefully in round 20 we're still penalising.
Yeah, because like for a 6-week period there's 1,000 penalties and then they forget about it 6 weeks later.
But they can't win, because on one hand you're saying I want it to be ref like the Origin where there's no penalties and it's free flowing. On the other hand you're saying be strong with it and stick with it all year. It's like, well, which one do they do?
True. Nah, it's a good point.
And the thing that makes this hard again, it's because it's a play the ball.
It's so easy.
It's not like
the head high one I can understand, because it's bullshit. Like sometimes a player literally slips into a shoulder, and the player, it's on them to have better footwork. This one, it's like, bro, you can try and I guess you can try and adjust. Like you can try and talk around it all you want. It is 100% the player's responsibility to play the ball correctly. And
it's one of those things, it's like, which side of the fence are you on? You're filthy when you get penalised for not playing the ball correctly, but then when someone on the other team is getting much faster play the balls and an advantage, you're filthy that they didn't play the ball properly.
There are exactly. There are players that are so good at just going like that straight through the legs. And I bet you any money there are other NRL players out there that go into video sessions and are like, bro, he never gets pulled up for it. And then, so I like it. I really do. Now, granted, the NRL do have a tendency sometimes to overcorrect and like, if we start seeing, like, for example, if I go to play the ball and I put my foot like that and it doesn't touch it, but I'm still trying to roll up back,
there has to be.
Then it's like let's be reasonable.
Bit of lenience.
Yeah. However,
an attempt for me should be good enough because there is a difference between someone purposely and strategically rolling it to get an advantage and attempting to play the ball.
A genuine attempt.
I hope that they kind of go hard to create a new habit, and then they're actually contextualizing the play during the game.
Being reasonable and understanding, okay, he's made a genuine attempt to play the ball. And I do think that the crackdown from the NRL would have been, guys, if you make a genuine attempt, we're not expecting every time for your foot to touch the ball. Just make an attempt to do it properly. Not like roll it, then your hand comes in. Like put it down, go to roll it.
From my experience though, in this period, like right now where they're trying to build this new habit, if your foot doesn't touch the ball, you're getting penalised.
Which I don't mind it. Set the standard early.
Yeah. Just as long as it transitions.
And look, if I'm being totally honest, if they're consistent with it and it is foot to touch the ball, then it's the foot to touch the ball. Like that's fine too, because again, that's in your control as a player. And also everyone has the same standard. So it's like, it's not unfair. If they do say like your foot has to touch the ball, then fair enough. Then we can begin to have the argument, are you slowing the ruck down too much? So that because players are stopping, putting the ball down, going like that. But at the moment, I felt like we seriously got to the point where players, it was like tunnel ball. And it's not like, honestly, not even exaggerating.
Yeah. And like I'm confident they'll bring it back to the right level of compliance. But I think it will. I think it'll correct itself.
Yeah. And look, I get it. As a fan of a game, when your team is got the ball,
the last thing you want to see,
and you see a penalty for it, it makes you furious. I get it, but don't blame the ref, blame the player. Like the player is 100% in control of that play of the ball, and they've been told. And look, don't blame the player in the trials, like because it's a trial. It's the first couple games. They're fatigued. Even in the first few weeks, I would say like give the players time to adjust. But if we're sitting in round 10 or whatever, and a bloke does the whole roll, doesn't put his foot on it, it's no one to blame but himself, like really.
Yeah, and what the penalties do, they do keep that little bit of fear in the back of your mind, and it literally for a split second will come into your mind when you go to play the ball, especially if you've been penalised. Like, you're just not doing it again.
Nah, no way.
You're not, because there's nothing worse. How embarrassing, how shit do you feel copping a penalty for your team for not playing the ball? You're an idiot.
Because it's literally all in your control.
You're hating it.
Yeah. So
it does make me nervous, though, that we're opening up a bit of grey area. Yeah, they can be nitpicked by people.
We just got to hope they've come to the middle ground.
It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, but then it's like on the flip side of that is like, then are we just going to go because there's a little bit of grey area when there's, you know what's crazy? There's not. We all know how to play a ball. You know what I mean? It's like we all know how to play. The only thing that's created a grey area is people rolling it through their legs. I just think the alternative is we just let blokes willy-nilly put it through their legs. Because that's the only
But to your
alternative.
point, we know the difference between an attempt and a piss take. So, like, penalise that. I'm fine with that. But don't penalise the attempt.
For sure. But what I'm saying is like, people are like, oh, now we've opened a grey area. It's like, well, what's the alternative? Is the alternative we don't try and crack down on this and we just allow players to roll it through their legs? Like that. Is that the alternative?
I genuinely noticed it. Like, I thought it was very obvious, especially last year.
You can go back and, like, find it on our podcast. I've talked about it for, at minimum a year, maybe even 2. It just...
And if a player knows it's something you can get away with, of course they're going to do it.
Of course they're going to do it. When a new rule comes in, players don't go, oh, how good a new rule. They go, how are we going to exploit that rule? That is competition. If they don't,
they're going to be taught to.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in regards to, like, you know, do you disagree? Do you feel like the crackdown's pointless? Do you feel like they should just go, you know what, stuff it, let's make the game as fast as possible? Or just your reasonable, if you do disagree, or even if you do agree, give us your reasonable thoughts on, like, this is, I disagree with Denan. I actually think that it's going to create too much of a grey area and we should just allow the players to kind of deal with it themselves in regards to like, you know, if that team's playing it through their legs, not touching it, then they do it as well. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to hear your thoughts. But I personally, I love it. I love they're doing it now. I love they're really clear about it. There's no, you know, waking up one morning in Magic Round going, holy shit, there's a crackdown now. It's very, very clear. So I think the NRL have done all the right things in this situation. Now it's about making sure that we officiate it without it getting out of hand, where it's like, you know, your stud didn't touch the ball hard enough. Now it's a penalty. It's like, no, okay, let's just relax. And look, I think if you went back and watched last night, there were plenty of times where blokes played the ball and their foot didn't actually touch it, but because they went like that, they were sweet.
But if that all happens and it all works, then I'm stoked. It's just that past has told me that it's not going to.
But again, what's the alternative? What's worse? We try to crack down on it and make it what it should be, or we just let it go?
No, it's a good point. I'm not dying on this hill. It's just crackdowns.
I think the past has shown that players, it corrects itself. Players make the correction. Like, they come to the table.
Well, like, okay, for example, even the way they handled their head high was really poor. Like, we woke up one Magic Round and head highs were just totally different. But you have to admit, players have adjusted the way they tackle because of the crackdown. Like, they have. Even though it was painful and we didn't get it right all the time, and sometimes some calls were outrageous, but long term, I feel like players have adjusted pretty well.
Yeah, it always does. You have to. Look at the NFL we spoke about as an example. Like, quarterbacks are in a dinner suit now.
Yeah.
Times change.
I mean, look at kick pressure now. Even though that's one of my pet hates, I actually think the opposite. I think that halfbacks are way too protected now. And look, I don't want players going out and hurting them, but I do think that we're getting to a point where, like, how many videos do we watch where a player literally gets touched and he dives on the ground? If I'm a ref and I saw a player like throwing his arms in the air after just getting a tiny bump, I'd be penalising him for diving. I seriously would. I do think our halves are way too protected. Like, they should feel pressure to kick. Otherwise, it's like, may as well just everyone stand there.
Yeah, and it's always the ebbs and flows of the tactics of the game. Like, kicking is a very dominant tactic now. So, like, do we let that get out of hand?
Yeah, whether you just kick people to death. Yeah. Like, I mean, Cleary is so strong at kicking. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's actually the Panthers' fitness that stopped kick pressure on Cleary because they're just too fit and they move at too quick a pace. But I understand the diving at legs. Like, I get that because it's that's so dangerous.
100% fair.
But for example, if a halfback kicks it and someone pushes him over to the ground, who gives a shit? It's rugby league.
Yeah.
Like, when I see penalties for that, I'm like, you do realise that same player that just got pushed to the ground is going to run into 210 kilo players and try and bump both of them next set. What do you reckon is more dangerous? Him running straight at 110 kilo monsters or getting pushed as he kicks it?
But it's also the impact. Like, this is potentially a team that's on their 30 or 40 metre line, they're kicking, and now it's going to be reversed and they're going to get a penalty in another set. Like, there's a significance of the impact for the action. So it's like, that's what shit. Yeah. I know they're trying to reduce the risk and safety, but it's the repercussions on the game and the other team as well. It's got to be...
And look, I know I understand the idea of like, oh, hang on a sec, he could just not push him. But it's like, okay, so where is the line?
Put kick pressure on.
Yeah, like, where's the line then? Do you just get rid of kick pressure altogether? And also, like, it's such a grey area because sometimes in some games you are allowed to put kick pressure on and push them as they're kicking the ball. And in other games, even if you fully wrap them and take them to the ground, you get penalised. So it's like... insane. Like, it's not a like number one priority problem for the game, but it is a little pet peeve that I do feel like whenever I see kickers intentionally diving to the ground and like being all dramatic, or any diving whatsoever. Yeah, I get it. The players
stamp that out.
I wish we could. It's a tough one, and the players are just playing. They're just trying to bend the rules. You know, it's a really tough one because like how do you stamp out diving? Because like then imagine giving a penalty for a not a dive. Yeah. And I will say that's also great. The amount of times I hear refs say milking and I'm watching, I'm like, have you ever been wrestled in your... He's clearly not milking. He's being held down by a really good wrestler.
Yeah, I don't...
So it's like,
that does piss me off, actually.
Yeah, when I hear milking, I'm like, what? He's fully got double underhooks holding him down. Milking, what?
I don't think the ref's going to ever be able to call on that. I reckon it's just going to be if you get clipped and you go down, you're off. And that's kind of what it is now.
As in, so what do you mean you're off?
Like if you get clipped on the head.
Oh, on the head.
For HIA.
Oh, the head stuff, I think you keep as is.
Yeah.
Like you can never know, with concussion and that, you just don't know.
Yeah.
What I'm more talking about is when you see players get a tiny push after he kicks the ball and he falls over.
I'd love a little bit of personality to come out from a ref this year and just turn around. Milking.
Diving, cat.
I'd love that.
If I heard a ref call a half a cat for diving, might be iconic. It honestly,
you'd run wild with that shit.
And look, as I said, of course, as a halfback, you got two choices here: not dive, or for your team get an extra set that could win you the game.
But it still goes back to the rules of the game. You know that you're probably going to get a penalty.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to be a tough one because they tried to crack down on all the diving in soccer. Look how bad that is now. Like it's just. How do you discern what's real and what's fake? It's all subjective, really.
Yeah, it is.
Like it really is subjective. Like someone has better balance.
Even though I feel like it is obvious.
I know, same. So do I. Like, but for example, like it'd be, let's say everyone was not trying to dive. It'd be much easier to push over a small player than David Fafita. But let's say they both copped the same impact. Shouldn't that not be adjudicated fairly? Like, let's say the pressure out of 10 was 10 out of 10 on both players. Fafita doesn't fall over because he's stronger, but the smaller guy does fall over. It's like, well, shouldn't that both be penalties technically? If you're just adjudicating on what the illegal action is rather than what the result is.
And I also feel like when you do get caught for that, milking, there's a little bit more theatrics.
Yeah.
There's like the over,
the hands in the air.
And the facials. Like I feel there's a segment coming on where we just analyse some of these reactions and it's either milking or milked.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I do wish that, I do hope they can somehow bring back the kick pressure. Because although it's still kind of there, it's nowhere near what it used to be. Like, imagine being back in Joey's day, how much, in Jonathan Thurston. Jonathan Thurston used to get absolutely poleaxed every time he kicked it.
I think if this topic gets any more traction around the significance of kicking in the game and the advantage, I think they're going to have to open the gates a little bit.
As I said, I'm not looking for diving at legs. I'm not looking for head high and blokes after
No, you can't take out the legs.
All I'm looking for is if I land at the same time you kick, I should be able to push you over.
Yep.
In my opinion, anyway.
It's just gotten too black or white where it's a touch penalty.
And I think I get the argument, they're in a vulnerable position because they're kicking, but is there really data to suggest that they get injured by being pushed? Like, for example, if I pass the ball...
Tell you what's a vulnerable position, bros? That same guy lining up, looking for you and running off you, running at you 12 metres off the back fence.
Yeah.
That's fucking vulnerable.
So, look, maybe the NRL's looked at it and they found data to show that as you're kicking... You're highly likely to get injured, maybe because you're on one leg. Maybe, I don't know, but I feel like kick pressure should be part of the game. But yeah, diving at the legs and that. And funnily enough, I actually used to be against it initially when it was defending drop goals, but now I'm like, listen, man, it's so dangerous diving at legs. I kind of get it. But yeah.
Speaking of kick pressure, I don't know if you've got this down in the notes, but one of the greatest kick pressure forwards has actually left. And if there's one thing that he wants to hear or take claim to, it's his kick pressure.
The white
that's
rhino.
all I've heard about. I've been to South Africa. I've seen rhinos, but we will never see a white rhino again. He's extinct. And I just wanted to give a shout out to...
mate, the lack of kick pressure has kicked him out of the game, the poor fella.
He's retired because of it.
Yeah, his one weapon's gone.
Yep.
The big fella, he's been bloody pushed out of the game with no kick pressure. He called Blandy, he said, mate, it's all I got.
But such a legend. He's going to... you probably already know, but very smart guy.
Christian Welch.
Christian Welch.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's Denan's 10 years experience on the podcast. Let everyone else in on the conversation, Sandor. But yeah, just such a champion. And I know he's going to do good things. Very likely that he contributes to the game in some capacity. And I still think my fondest memory would be down at St Kilda after a game. After we even had
was this long hair, Shandor?
This was long hair, Shandor. Doing some great things down there on the waterfront, and this picture will always be etched in my mind of Welshie in a pink collared polo shirt, sipping a bottle of rosé by himself.
Unbelievable.
Strange.
I remember seeing that on Instagram. Just going, mate, front rower.
Yeah.
Sipping on champagne with a pink shirt on. Jeez.
And they're extinct for a reason. They don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist. The pink polo, eh? The pink polo was in 2008.
Oh, remember when you ran the polo and
it was almost like, I'll wear pink, I don't care.
Yeah.
But these days, it's okay to wear pink, but the pink polo, I don't know
way.
about that. Come on, bros.
No chance.
Come on, bro. But what a career. Like, really did squeeze all of his potential out of him, like make Origin. He was such a vital part of that 2020 Origin win for Queensland. Him and Lindsay Collins, they were just so big in that game. And obviously Papali'i as well.
As a Blues fan, he gave me the shits because, like, he just tortured Cleary.
Yeah.
Tortured him. Yeah.
All day.
Those smaller details, it's just like such a great teammate. You'd always want a Christian Welch in your team.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you might have a Payne Haas on your side, which is always amazing.
100%.
But you need Christian Welch on your side to do all the little things like your kick pressure. Like, I can't express how important it is if you can win that kick pressure. Bro, it's a whole set. It's like 30 meters of tough carries that you don't have to do now. And that just he was was he part of the squad? No, he wasn't. When Storm won the premiership 2020?
2020.
He was off the bench?
He was there, but I think he was injured in 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll Google it to make sure. But
He was injured before that,
yeah.
But there in 2020. So premiership, Origin series, bloody good career.
Yeah.
Bloody good career. Also, don't forget, guys, the only way to watch all these preseason challenge games, plus all the All-Stars, is on KO, live and exclusive. Also, today is the final day to enter the KO Green Card competition. The prize includes return flights for 2 to Las Vegas, 3 nights accommodation, 2 tickets to Vegas games, VIP access to 2 NRL 360 in Vegas, and $1,500 spending money. That is right. So be quick because the promo ends tonight. It's the KO Green Card. We'll have a link in the show notes. You want to enter this draw. Imagine it late getting flown over to Vegas with a friend. Like, geez, what a week that'd be. The KO Green Card. Head over. We'll put the link in the description, or I'm assuming you could Google KO Green Card. And as I said, the prize includes return flights for 2 to Vegas, 3 nights accommodation, 2 tickets to the Vegas games, and VIP access for 2 to NRL 360 in Vegas, and also $1,500 spending money. You're kidding. Massive thanks to KO. Don't forget also, menu log, use code LUAI, L-U-A-I, for free delivery this week. Minimum spend is $30. And Bloke Undies, get yourself some Bloke Undies. Use code PREVIEW for 10% off your Bloke Undies this week. Premium undies at bloke.shop. And also go to begoodhealth.com.au for your multivitamin. Who needs a good day? We do, because we are filming, we did film a 7.5-hour podcast last week. And we've been filming podcasts all day today as well. Use code DMP for 10% off your at begoodhealth.com.au. The best multivitamin in the business. Mulitalo has re-signed after some weeks of speculation. Mulitalo has recommitted to the Sharkies until the end of 2028. I was shocked at the length of this contract. I thought it was going to be like one of those ones where it's like, mate, we just don't have the money in the cap, blah, blah, blah. Maybe just sign a 1-year extension, try and win a premiership, then go get your big contract. Till 2028. What a deal for both parties. This is such a good deal. I'm assuming it wasn't for overs for the Sharkies. He's already, I think, 4th all-time try scorer. That means we definitely know he's going to be at the club for at least another 3 years. Like, that's a great deal for all parties. I couldn't see Ronaldo at any other club.
No.
Love it.
Yeah, great player, great clubman. I love that signing.
It was making me a little nervous the longer it went on, as these things tend to do. But, yeah, I couldn't see him anywhere else. Don't want him anywhere else. I just can't see him in any other jersey. And I really like what the Sharks are doing and building to. I know they've probably got to, try and win in the next couple of years. But, yeah, he's an integral part of that back line. And I hope he gets right up to that record. I know he's still a few tries away, but he'll definitely be number 2 pretty
15
soon.
each year. Let's say that's an extra 45.
Yeah.
It's fair whack that he'll be able to get together in the next 3 years. Yeah, absolutely stoked for it. And I just think what the Sharks have built at that club, for not that much resources, for being a smaller club, it's nothing short of amazing. The CEO, I'm not even know the CEO's name, but whoever the CEO's been and the administration there, to do what they've done, like winning reserve grade competitions, the women's team getting into a grand final. The Sharks have been super successful the last 3 years. Like, it's amazing. And they've kept all their players together pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
I love it. I'm excited to watch them this year.
Yeah, I think they had, heading into this offseason, 10 players that were available to speak to other clubs, and they've essentially locked up every single one except for maybe one.
Wow.
Just so well done. So,
Fitzgibbon effect in that too. I reckon there'd be a great culture building in parallel to that team.
They're just as a club, they've been flying under the radar for everything they've done, under the radar for everything they've done. When you compare it to some of the other bigger clubs, it's amazing what they've done. So
he's still a fair way away from the record. He's fourth. He's on 82, but the record's 166 by ET. So he's pretty much got to double it.
So another 45, he'd be about 120.
Yeah,
and he'd be about 28. And so it's another 50. It's not
out of reach.
No, not at all. Not at all. With today's the amount of games you could play.
Yeah.
Let's say he plays till he's 34, and he's like one club man.
And to be fair,
another decade.
To be fair, that 3-year deal is after this year, so it's really four more years.
Well, so it's till 2028.
Yeah, 25, 26, 27,
27, 8. So yeah, 4 more years. Let's say he would get 15 tries a year average, which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, so we'd be on 140.
140. Absolutely, that's in range.
Yeah,
100%. Because by the time this deal ends, he'd only be, how old is he now? 25?
Check.
So he'd be what? About 29? So yeah, he'd just need to play till about 33 at the Sharkies, and I reckon he'd get it.
He just turned 25 in November.
Yeah.
Nice.
So definitely in range. Other signings, Tallis Duncan. Super. I mean, by the way, guys, go and watch our season preview. This was super interesting. We spoke about this in our season preview about where is Tallis Duncan at, what's going on there. Coming off contract 2026, but he re-signed the Rabbitohs until 2027. Love to see this at the Rabbitohs. That is great signs for Tallis Duncan. It's great signs for the Rabbitohs. You want nothing more than young talent that has been identified to be the next big thing in that age bracket to sign long-term contracts at clubs they came through at. Great signs. And it means he must have had a big off-season because he wouldn't have got that contract if he didn't.
No way.
Wouldn't have got that contract if he didn't.
And again, I was kind of questioning why he wasn't signed for 2026 yet, and the way they've kind of brought him up, playing him here, playing him there, not playing him sometimes, which position. If I thought Ronaldo was making me nervous, this was actually making me nervous. So, yeah, when that news came through on Instagram the other day, I was so happy. He's a hell of a player.
And it's good signs. As I said, we were a bit unsure where he stood at the club.
Yeah.
Now we've got a good sign where he does stand at the club.
Absolutely.
Which is great. Alex Seyfarth re-signs with the Tigers until the end of 2028. Man, there's so much potential in Seyfarth. He's just got to make sure he stays on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, there's a good player in Alex Seyfarth.
Absolutely.
Really good player.
Their biggest challenge is, and no, not even there. It's his biggest challenge because he's old enough now. He's just got the penalties and a little brain explosion. And don't get me wrong, plenty of players have been through this. He's not unique.
100%.
This is a part of rugby league. He just needs to sort that out. Once he does, look at Mitch Barnett before he went to the Warriors.
So true.
Genuine psycho. Now he's one of the most consistent players in the competition.
You kind of forget that he was like that, hey?
He's a captain of the Warriors.
Yeah, that's true. You do actually kind of forget.
He was crazy. He was crazy. And most footy players are lunatics to some degree. It's such a physical sport. But now he's a captain of a club. That just shows you can make those changes. So I was thinking Seyfarth can. Broncos hooker Blake Mozer has injured his shoulder. He's unlikely to play round 1. Smoothie's reportedly off to the Super League after the season. Smoothie, Walters packed, currently fit. What is a hooker rotation? Well, the recent thing I read was it may actually be Smoothie packed because they see Walters more as a 6. I will say what it does show me is that it did look like Blake Mozer was literally going to start the year as 9, which I don't mind. I called for that. I think he should start the year. Really, a little bit of a hiccup for Mozer, but not too bad. The biggest concern though for me for Mozer is hopefully it doesn't need surgery because that's a whole season.
What was the injury, bros?
Shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Shoulder. And it's one of those ones where he may need surgery, but you know how sometimes they can rehab you through it, and then you get surgery at the end of the year, which sucks. It's the last thing you want heading into the year. Is even if they rehab it, you're still always carrying it throughout. You're never at 100%, but as a footy player, you're never really playing at 100%. I just hope he gets through a full year of footy. Hopefully they rehab it all right. But just a little hiccup. He'll be fine. In regards to the good thing with the Broncos, they've got a relatively good hooker rotation. Probably going to be Smoothie Pakes, I think. Everything I'm reading, and also Walters being named at 6 for the trials, would suggest to me that they've got Walters. And I actually don't mind that from Michael Maguire's perspective. It looks like he's looked at the Broncos and gone, I've got 4 hookers.
Yeah.
And granted, I understand Walters was a starting hooker and he did a good job there, but Pakes is not a 6, Smoothie's not a 6. And so it's like, from a squad balance perspective, he's going, I've got Walters here who's played plenty of NRL.
Yeah, and he's a natural 6.
Natural 6. He's perfect backup.
Yeah.
And also, like, you know, if he plays really well long term, who knows? You just don't know. You never know in rugby league. So I actually understand why Madge has done this. I know people maybe try to like look into it deeper than maybe what it is. I genuinely think Madge has looked at his roster of 30 players and gone, I've got 4 hookers.
Yeah.
Like
something's got to give.
And yet all I've got is one 6 that's not going to be playing for like 10 rounds or whatever. I've got Ben Hunt, who is actually not a 6, he's more of a 7. And then outside of that, he's got maybe Rogers or whatever. But like Walters is a step above Rogers. Yeah. Rogers is more of a Queensland Cup style player at the moment. And so for squad balance, it makes perfect sense to have Walters as your backup 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And also you got Mozer there that's ready to go into that 9 role. Obviously, I know he got injured, but you know this decision would have been made weeks and weeks ago. Yeah. Makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just, as a consumer perspective, I'm disappointed because I wanted to see Mozer get that jersey, and every chance he will in round 2 or 3. We don't know how long it's going to be yet, but yeah, like they got so many hookers, as you said, so it's the right decision. But yeah, disappointed for Mozer, but it's fine if it's 1 or 2 rounds. It's not too bad.
Yeah, as long I hope it's not. Because at the moment, it's not locked in, it's 1 or 2 rounds, because they might not be able to rehab it.
Yeah.
If they can't rehab it, he has to get a
Yeah, the statement was carefully worded.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so put it this way, he'll most likely have to get a Rico anyway.
Yes, that's usually how it goes.
But he just may be able to rehab it, strengthen it so that he gets through the year. Yeah, so it sucks. But he's super young. Sports science is so good now. If you get a Rico at a club, it doesn't affect you that, like, when you do the rehab, they make you do such good rehab. Like, once I got my shoulder reconstruction, it didn't bother me one bit after it.
Neither.
And
it's not like it used to be.
Nowhere near what it used to be. Like, you're not even thinking about it, really. You just, obviously, when it happens, you're a bit tentative, but once you get past that initial, you're sweet. All-Stars, Saturday night, CommBank Stadium. I mean, I just cannot wait to see the Hammer, KP, some big names here, which is sick. I love this game. They really have nailed the concept. I hope it doesn't get lost in the noise of like Vegas and all that. Like, I hope they continue to really try to make it the best version of itself. The one thing I definitely don't want to do is it to be gone. It has to stay a part of the game. It is 100%. It is way too important to a large portion of our game and community to not stay in the game. It's just about finding the right spot for it, really. And I like this spot for it, but let's just say for some reason it doesn't rate that well, or for whatever reason, they've just got to find wherever the most exposure for this game can be that fits the schedule, just put it there. Because I just think it has to stay no matter what.
I agree. It's way too important.
Yeah.
And I agree with you as well. I think this is the right time. So hopefully it gets the attention it deserves, but I think it will. It's our first big hit of rugby league and seeing all the superstars in action. So
there was a rumor it was going to be at the end of the year, and I actually raised my eyebrows at that. I thought that was silly because the hype's dead then. Like, remember Origin in November? Like, everyone's kind of over it. Like, the tradition of the All-Stars match to start the season, everyone's buzzed, everyone's so keen to watch it. I think it's the perfect time slot.
It gives it the best opportunity for sure in this slot.
Yeah, I like it too. I really do. And I remember going to one of the games a couple of years ago. It was so good to see in person. So, yeah, I like it. Some big names: Jeremy Marshall-King, Fisher Harris, Jordan Ricky, Laban from the Warriors, Leo Thompson at 13. That's interesting to see him at 13.
Having Fisher Harris, Thompson and Royce Hunt all in the field at the same time.
So good. Can't wait to see KP. What kind of nicks he in, because he is just a special player. Munro on the wings, Rabbitohs fans, watch that closely. Brian Kelly, Jackie Wyden in the centres. Khan Pereira, Jaden Campbell at 6, Pudu at 7, Shaq Mitchell, Connor Watson at 9, the Hot Pirate, Josh Kerr, Dylan Lucas, Josh Curran, Pudu at 13. Like, mate, Dane Gagai, Hiroti, Jesse Arthurs, Warbrick. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the best like lineups I've seen in a while, I reckon.
Yeah, I love it.
So good. So can't wait. So this is Saturday. Look, I'm going to tip Multi All-Stars. I'm going to tip the Multi All-Stars to get the win. Who you got? I just look at that forward pack. Like, this is the Multi forward pack.
Yeah.
Royce Hunt, Jerry Marshall-King, Fisher Harris, Ricky Laban, and Thompson versus Shaq Mitchell, Connor Watson, Kerr, Lucas, Curran, Puru.
Yeah,
I just reckon the Multi one's a bit
isn't
like the Multi one, Royce Hunt, Fisher Harris, like up the front, like jeez.
Yeah, the Multi All Stars. I think that's where I'd be putting my money.
I'm gonna go Indigenous.
You're gonna go Indigenous?
Yeah.
I want Indigenous to win because they're obviously they're outside. They're outside. I just my head thinks the Multi side will win.
I just love that Indigenous backline is just
it's so hectic.
It's nuts.
Hammer, Munro, Kelly, White, and Khan Pereira. Right out, their jerseys are always so sick.
Yeah,
they're so sick. But yeah, my heart says Indigenous, my head says the Multi side. I just reckon they just got that big forward pack, and KP at the back is just so dangerous. But I definitely want Indigenous side to win. That's for sure. Indigenous All Stars paying $245, Multi $155. You can get a 13 plus Indigenous side $6, and you never know what happens in the trial. $6 not bad. Alrighty, on to the other trials. Who you go on, Newcastle Knights or the Eels? I'm so interested to see the Eels.
Yeah, Jason Riles.
So interested to see the Eels.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, I'm gonna back the Eels on this one.
Okay,
I'll go Knights.
I'm gonna go Eels. I reckon he'll be wanting to hit the ground running. The Knights. I'm so interested to see Fletcher Sharp at 6. You know,
I'm keen to watch that game.
Like, just back him in, please. Yeah. Just keep him there. Keep him. If you're going to bring him there round 1, keep him there.
I think this is the most interesting game for me, anyway.
Cowboys, Dolphins.
Probably Dolphins.
I don't know. Dolphins.
Yeah, they're paying $1.60. I'm going to go Cowboys. Paying $2.35. Sports bet. Warriors, Storm. Warriors paying $1.45. Storm $2.75. That to me is mental. Like, I know that it's a trial and there's probably some players pulled out, but
have you seen the lineups?
But Melbourne Storm, you know, like $2.75.
Well, I see Storm at $2.75, I'm taking it. Not Storm.
That's what I mean. Any Melbourne Storm that's $2.75 next time, I'm taking it.
I appreciate it. I've seen the lineups and I just think from a win-loss perspective, I think the Warriors might get it done.
Okay. I think the value's Storm, but I get what you're saying because the lineups are pretty hectic. Rabbitohs $2, Manly $1.80.
Oh, keen to see the halves. Dodd for South and Humphreys at 6.
Could be season defining.
Seriously, yeah. I don't know. Sullivan might be. He's not even in the squad, so South obviously.
I'll go the Eagles. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, Manly too. Broncos Titans. Broncos $2.35. Titans $1.60.
I had a look at these lines before. I reckon Titans will get them.
Man, I know we've said it to a couple of teams now, but how interesting is it going to be to see this Broncos side and like how they've reacted to Michael Maguire?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, are they going to be super fit? I will say, watching their like Q Cup side with a couple of first grades in it, they won 22-0. Like, keeping that 0, like that's a great sign to me. And they looked. Their game plan was so simple, and they look super fit.
Yeah, super fit. That shift in focus. That's a similar vibe with the Eels. Like, I think players have got a lot to prove. So yeah, I'll go the Broncos.
I think the Bronx.
I'll go Titans.
Bulldogs, Tigers. Bulldogs $2, Tigers $1.80.
For sure, the Tigers. I'll go Dogs.
Doggies.
Well, yeah, Tigers. Dragons, Roosters. Dragons $1.54, Roosters $2.50.
Yeah, I'm going Dragons because they
notoriously
go good in
the
go good at the start.
True.
Plus, they got their good play. Their
Dragons
recruits in.
Dragons. I remember a few years ago. Remember when they got absolutely towed? Was it the Charity Shield or something like that?
Yeah,
Charity Shield.
Oh, fuck. As a fan, you just sitting there going, oh, no.
Great, yeah.
And everyone picked it for the spoon, me included. And they ended up something like 11th again, as they usually do.
I'll tell you what, like Raiders, you know, I've said they're going to struggle this year, but like watching them, like, oh, far out. I tell you, that's the worst thing about trials is that with the preview, you do it before the trials. And so it starts making you second guess. You're like, oh shit, like, they look pretty good, but you just got to hold firm. See how you go. Alrighty, we are done and dusted. Grab some Grumpy Coffee, grumpycoffee.com.au. Trust me, guys, best coffee all the land. Beautiful, beautiful blends. Got every day. We got Very Grumpy. We got whole bean, we got ground, we got pods, we got it all at grumpycoffee.com.au. And if you ordered initially when we launched and it took a while to get to you, that has all been sorted now, guys. We got customer service all sorted. It gets to you quickly, so head to grumpycoffee.com.au. Give us a follow on Instagram. Listeners, takes you 2 seconds, type in Grumpy Drinks, go to Instagram, give us a follow. Really would appreciate it. Make sure to like the video as well. And make sure to give the great Sandor a follow as well. Appreciate it. And as usual, we'll go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
Let's go. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.